Hi everyone, welcome to Sunnybank. I'm Kathy George from the Sunnybank Memorial, and I have Jerry Oliver here helping me out today as we do a virtual walking tour of Sunnybank. Normally it's all the ladies from the TSM, the Tribune Sunnybank Memorial, helping out, but today I'm the Jersey girl. I get to do it all by my lonesome. So we're just going to have a taste of Sunnybank. We're going to start here. Sunnybank House was built in the 1860s by Albert Payson Terhune's parents, the Reverend Dr. Edward Payson Terhune, and his wife, Mary Virginia Hawes Terhune, better known to the people of the day as Marion Harlan, best-selling author. She was a combination of Danielle Steele and Martha Stewart. She was a novelist and a homemaker advice person. So they built this house. They called it a cottage. It was clapboard-sided, 3 stories high. And over the years, they added on to it. Eventually, the house would be 42 feet wide by 32 feet deep. That's quite a little cottage. And that didn't include the veranda that ringed the house on 3 sides. This is the earliest known photo of Sunnybank House. Now, the Sunnybank House is a little bit confusing to us today because the front of the house faced the lake, the back of the house faced the road. And let's go to the next photo, Jer. This is a photo of Sunnybank House from the 1930s in all its glory with its gardens. Now, in the main house, the first floor, the living room went from the front to the back. The music room and dining room faced the lake, and the kitchen was off to this side. The living room was over that way, and Bert's study and the powder room looked out the back. So Bert, when he was working in his study, could look out the window and see the kennels right behind him. We're going to digress for a moment, and we'll go on to the next photo in a second. We're going to come over to what is known as the sheep nose tree. It was used by Native Americans. It's known as a Native American trail marker tree, also known as a signal tree or a thong tree. Today they're known as culturally modified trees. They were used to mark trails, let the Native American tribes know where there was water, where there were tribal boundaries. And what they would do would be to take a supple branch and bend it back into the trunk, keep it in place with a thong, hence the name thong tree. This is a picture of the tree in the 1970s. So you can see how much it is filled in. The sheep nose tree is important for us because it helps us place exactly where the house was. So let's move along to the parking lot. Next photo, please. Vanna. All right. Do you have the sheep nose tree in the view? Just so that we can see. Can we get the sheep nose tree with the parking lot? Okay. All right. In this photo, you can really see clearly how the sheep nose tree helps us place the house. So based on this, you can see that the house sat firmly on the parking lot. As I always like to say, they paved paradise and put up a parking lot. It took up most of the parking lot. You can see here, based on the trees that line here, that the house was only about a car and a half width away from where that other fence is right there. So it really did take up most of what is today the parking lot. And it went from, the 42 feet went from probably one of the first fence posts, almost down to the Sunnybank sign over there. Is that in the view? No. Okay. Well, there is a Sunnybank sign, a Sunnybank Park sign there. So it's about down to there. And we're going to move along to our, one more thing. Everyone is always heartbroken that Sunnybank House is gone. But it isn't gone, because it does live on in our hearts and in our imaginations. And so for every single person who loves Sunnybank, you have your own private Sunnybank. You have a Sunnybank that is unique to you. And that, I think, is more special than if Sunnybank House still existed. Because you can make it what you'd like it to be, how you envision it. And now, let's go on to our next stop. So we're walking along here. To my left is where the barn was. Further ahead, you have the root cellar. On our right, we have the puppy rock. And hopefully I won't fall. At Champions Rock. Normally, Chrissy Marshall takes this station, but I'm going to have to be Chrissy today. So I'm going to keep this very short. This is Champion Rock, and the easiest thing, the best thing, is to just read Terhune's words about this spot. Well, if you want to go in on the collies. In 1937, Terhune wrote, "There are only a few Sunnybank dogs that are not hidden in that hidden old graveyard. The exceptions are Lad, who lies beneath his best-loved resting place close to the house at the foot of a shade tree, Bruce and Bruce's daughter Jean, who sleep side by side, as in life, a little farther up the slope, and the dogs which surround a woodland boulder called by many newspapers Champions Rock. Back in Terhune's day, it was called Champions Rock. Over the years, we now call it Champion Rock. Those dogs are our shining champions. Sunnybank Sigurd, the tree of my book of that name, Sunnybank Sigurdsson, Sunnybank Explorer, and Sunnybank Thane. There, too, sleep our non-champion immortals, Grey Dawn, Wolf, Bobby, and Fair Ellen. When Sandy shall die, he is to lie there, too. No more dogs after that. At a little distance from the rock is a tiny grave, the grave of Tippy, the temperamental gray Persian cat, the cat who thought she was a dog, our little housemate for more than 15 pleasant years." Now, obviously Champion Rock is rather old, and erosion is taking its toll. So, years ago, Claire Leishman raised funds to put in this monument so that it would always be easy to see who was buried where, if anything would be eroded away. And let's move on. At the lily pool. This is a photo from the Book of Sunnybank showing the lily pool in Terhune's time. Now, the original lily pool bench was very rustic and wooden. Over time, they changed it and put in this beautiful stone bench with lion's head arms. The TSM wanted to replace that, but we couldn't find an exact replica of that bench. So we instead installed a rooftop monument that has two quotes from Terhune, along with some photos of them at the lily pool. In the book of Sunnybank, Terhune wrote, "At sunset or at early dusk or at dawn, its holy silences are athrob with thrush songs. The mistress and I go there at such times to listen, wordless, spellbound." Bert kept goldfish in the lily pool. And there was also one of Sunnybank's most famous little people, Jack the Frog. He lived here. Jack's story is a little sad. He'd been here from the time he was a tadpole, and they could identify him because he had a clouded over white eye and a triangular scar on his head. Jack was pretty tame. The mistress would feed him flies, and he was here for 20 years. The mistress and master came home one day, and Jack was found flattened up on Terhune Road. So the TSM has honored Jack and put him back in the lily pool, and hopefully he'll be able to stay at Sunnybank forever. Now the next stop is a little bit of a walk. Let's carry on. Here's the front of the puppy run on the right. The sundial. Crossing the lovely long driveway that Terhune was right about. Look out, please. Here we are at the evening lookout, and Bert and Anise would come here in the evenings and watch the sunset over the lake. It's a view straight down to the lake, and of course it overlooked the rose walk. So in summer, when the roses were in bloom, it had to have been absolutely gorgeous. Did you get a view from the lookout? Okay, good. Then let's move on. Leishman, the woman who was responsible for saving Sunnybank, preserving it for us, wanted to have, her dream was to have a statue of Bert Macaulay put up at Sunnybank. But that was really not practical. So in 2009, we honored Claire with this bench. And what we've done is bring back Sunnybank House on the bench. And Bert and Anise and the Collies. And the wisteria. The bench was installed on April 29th, 2009, the 40th anniversary of the raising of Sunnybank House. And in keeping with the tradition started by Claire, everyone who donated for this bench to be erected and installed had their names written on ribbons, the colors of the collies, and it is buried here. That canister is buried here with everyone who donated. And it's a short walk down to our next stop. These are the graves of Bruce and Jean. Bruce is the dog we honor this year. He died in 1920. The book of the same name was published in 1920. Bruce is important because he was Terhune's first AKC registered collie. Jean was his daughter, the first registered litter that Terhune bred. And now to the grand finale. Oh, we did Bruce. Oh, did you get the dog without a fault?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I did.
Diana turns letters. She doesn't talk.
Okay. Okay. So now we're going to make our way down the treacherous slope here, carefully. There's a lot of storm damage here from Isaiah, so we're being very careful as we go down the terraces. And we end with the dog who started it all, Lad. The book of Lad a Dog ends with these words. We buried Lad in a sunlit nook that had been his favorite lounging place, close to the house he had guarded so long and so gallantly. With him we buried his honorary Red Cross and Blue Cross, awards for money raised in his name. Above his head we set a low granite block with a carven line or two thereon. The mistress wanted the block inscribed, "The dearest dog." I suggested the dog God made, but we decided against both epitaphs. We did not care to risk making our dear old friend's memory ridiculous by words at which saner folk might one day sneer. So on the granite is engraved, Lad, thoroughbred in body and soul. Some people are wise enough to know that a dog has no soul. These will find ample theme for mirth in our foolish inscription, but no one who knew Lad will laugh at it. We hope you enjoyed this virtual tour of Sunnybank. Thank you for joining us. And thank you to Jerry for helping out, and to Lou, the cameraman. And we hope we see you next year in person here at Sunnybank. Bye.